All right, everybody. Hey. Welcome to another Monday evening Mojo. And it is freezing all over the United States, right? Oh, my goodness. But anyway, you're not here to hear the weather report, right? And for those of you that aren't familiar with Comeback Mojo or Monday evening Mojos, it's hosted by Comeback King Enterprises in collaboration with Conversations with Jeff International, and I am the host on both. And I want to tell you, man, tonight's message is really going to be impactful, right? And our whole vision of this whole thing, right, is to help you see the comeback as a lifestyle, right? Oh man, where turning point, you turn setbacks into strengths, right? Thinking into truth and pressure, life's pressures. Oh man, it's a purposeful leadership, whether it be in relationships or in your family, however it might be. And we are all leaders. Well, Jeff, don't tell me you work for somebody. No, we're all leaders of ourselves first, right? And then from there, we might lead organizations, we may lead teams, we may, wherever that other piece might be. But I'm talking about individual to individual. We are all leaders, and we can all master the idea of the comeback as a lifestyle, right? And then amplify that message, right? So people truly can flip the switch from stinking thinking to truth, right? And seeing the setback as a setup, like they talk about, for leadership, for opportunities and relationships, right? And then be a part of a movement, man, to lead a worldwide movement. Oh man, it transforms, not motivates, transforms the mentality, the images. Seeing the setbacks is for real a gift, right? First of all, as a gift, and then taking the the roadblocks and the stumbling and the struggles and creating leaders from that, and then and this is the real key here, bringing people from isolation into a community of warriors, right? So anyhow, tonight's message is, man, it's really interesting how I came up with this when I was in the training session with my coach, and she was talking, she dropped something today and, was talking about leadership, and her and Sarah Blakely are cool. And so we always get to hear nuggets and how they're communicating and all this stuff. And one of the questions that we were talking about, Sarah Blakely is, the developer of Spinks. And then now she's got Sneaks, I think. And so she sold the first company for 1.8 billion or something like that. And this next one's going to probably be the same. But her mentality, right, as a leader, and let me back up, just give you a little bit more about that. Her whole message from growing up, her pops used to always, how parents, when you go to school, we ask about your class and all the things that you did well, that you didn't do well and all that. He would always ask her, so Sarah, what did you fail at today? I'm gonna say that again. What did you fail at today? Right? So, there's a whole lot more to that story other than we can't fail enough. Yes, we can, but understanding that failure is a necessary piece of growth, right? And it's an advantage to be able to be comfortable doing some things and being bad at it, sucking at it, doing some things that you aren't really comfortable with, taking action on things that you really don't know what you're doing yet, right? All that stuff. As a result, you see, and how she built her business with $5,000 and what she did to make things happen. She didn't take no for an answer, right? And she was amplifying the comeback as a lifestyle, right? And all that thinking, she turned that into strength, right? She found her purpose in that message and helping women become magnificent, right? So anyway, look her up, powerful lady. And so there's a reason why I brought all this up, right? There are so many people that are standing on the sidelines of life, waiting to get in the game, right? And I like to use an analogy around sports here. There's people, there's a big game, everybody's out on the field, and you have people standing up that are, wanting to get in the game, and they're looking, there's chin straps on, helmets on, and they're waving at the coach when he looks down, and they're like walking on the field, can't wait to get in. And then you have the next person that's standing right next to him. Same team, same game, and they're just waiting there comfortably, right? Have the ability to perform, have the skill sets, but the stinking thinking has set the narrative for them. Their identity won't allow them to do anything other than what they're doing now. And that's to the best of their ability. And I'm not criticizing, but that's what life will do to you when you're trapped by stinking thinking. That's what life will do to you when you're caught in the grip, right? And so anyway, tonight, as we go through this, and I like to come in here, and, oh, I'm sorry. I never let you guys, I may have told you who I am. I'm just Tyson, affectionately known as the Comeback King. And talked about the Comeback King Enterprises and coaching and speaking, and then also collaborative with conversations with Jeff International. I know I told you that. So anyway, just so you know who I am, right? I mean, right. So I want to talk to you about some stuff, right? Let's be real for a moment. And excuse me 1 second. Here's the thing. Most people aren't stuck because they don't have the talent, don't have the vision or the ability. They're stuck because they're waiting on the sidelines, like I was talking about, right? And for those of you that are coming in, when you come in, just drop a note on where you're at and how things are doing with you and how this maybe resonate with you, right? We're talking about if there was no one to ask, what would you do, right? And so most people are stuck, and I talked about that. But here's the thing. They're stuck because they're waiting. And there's like four W's coming up. Waiting to do what? Waiting to be chosen, right? Waiting to be approved, right? Waiting for the right time. And is this resonating with you? Put it in the chat when you hear this. What are you waiting for, man? Right? There were often times when I was waiting for someone to confirm that, yeah, Jeff, you can do it. I'll be honest, there's been times in my life when I've been on the sidelines and waiting for people to say, man, you've done it before. I needed some encouragement. Encouragement is good, right? But I had my helmet on and I was waving down at the coach, put me in, coach. But then I'd hide too, right? Waiting for the right timing, waiting for someone else to say, like I talked about, now you're ready. I want to tell you, you're ready now. Don't wait for permission anymore, right? You are ready now. Because here's the truth behind the comeback warrior lifestyle. No one is coming to give you permission. Nobody. You hear it all the time, right? All my coaches talk about, no one's waiting for you. I always like to say, ask for forgiveness before permission, right? That's kind of my makeup when it comes to making decisions that I may not have all the answers for. It comes to making decisions that I know that are right? At least 99% of it, or maybe not that much. Or it makes it, need to ask someone for permission. I've not always done that. Right? Very seldom have I done that, actually. That's not my makeup. But for those of you that it is, I want you to know that it's, your time is now, because nobody is going to give you permission. No one's coming to say it's okay. Right? But I want you to know you'll be all right. Here, so I'm going to ask you. So ask yourself the question. I already put it up at the very beginning. So I want you to ask yourself truly, truly the question. Is there anything, if there was no one to ask, what would you do? Right? What goals would you truly set? Not these wishes. I mean, I'm going to probably jab at you a little bit for those of you already by the end of January where, 2025 is all over you. You're back in the same routine. You've already given up on 2026. I want you to don't do that. I want you to dig deeper. The reason why you're giving up is because of what you have set on paper isn't big enough to move you, isn't real enough for you. It hasn't been the thing that you really want to have, right? And you're going through the motions. How do I know that? I've been through the motions. Time to stop going through the motions. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you, no one's going to come to give you permission. What boundaries would you finally set? Who would you change in your life? What would your life look like if you could just wave a magic wand and change the people in your circles? What would that look like? That's a hard one, right? Because we don't want to offend people, our family in particular, right? But those are the very ones that are taking the energy from us, man, right? In a loving way, only looking out for us. Don't want you to try that risky thing. That's a vision that God gave you and only you can see it, but you don't take action because someone's turned the lights down on that vision, on that dream, hurt your feelings, told you, are you crazy? What do you think you can do, right? And I like this last one. What version of yourself would you finally put forward? Who would that be? What would that look like? Right? I mean, There's no doubt in my mind that creating comebacks as a lifestyle and amplifying the message with speakers from all over the world and opportunities to learn from experts on how to convert stinking thinking into, you know, truth. And you're finding pressure as a gift to lead you to your purpose, right? I mean, there's nothing that can change my mind about the message in that, right? I know for sure that everybody qualifies. We don't have to go to school. We don't have to have, money in the bank. This is understanding that changing our identity, creating new patterns from that change and some new habits. All bets are off, man. The possibilities are real, guys. I mean, the possibilities for you to be where you want to be are real. Stop waiting for permission. But I get it. I know why you are, because waiting feels safe. I've been there. But how's that working for you? Because I'm going to tell you, purpose is not. Chasing your purpose, beating down the self-doubt and the stinking thinking, all that to get to your purpose, that takes energy. That's not going to be easy, man, but it's sure the heck's going to be worth it. But here's something you hear all the time, about pressure, turning a lump of coal into diamond. That's for real stuff, right? I mean, that's the truth. Pressure builds character. Pressure builds courage. Pressure opens up a whole nother part of yourself that you've been wanting to come out, but you've been waiting on permission. See, here's the thing, man. You already have the ability. You already have the ability. Waiting on approval is the thing, but we already have. There's 3 C's, right? The 3 C's that we all have the ability to do, right? And a warrior or not, 3 other C's, right? Clarity. Man, some people need to be completely clear. I get it, but I hope you hear me when I say this. I say this out of love. You're not going to have all the answers. I was going to talk about this. I'm going to do it next week. Here's the only guarantee I can tell you about your life and your business. There is a guarantee. There's only one guarantee that anybody can give you, right? You want to know what it is? Let me tell you. Whatever you're chasing, whatever you're doing, whatever you're making an attempt to do, as soon as you do what I'm going to tell you, then the guarantee is fulfilled. And the only guarantee that you can ever really receive is that if you, 2 words, I quit. If you quit, then you're guaranteed not to achieve what it is you're after. It's just not going to happen. So I hope you're a little uncomfortable with some of this messaging tonight, reading this, hearing me talk to you, and I come to you out of love, and I want you to know that I believe in you. I want you to know that, clarity is important. I want you to know your feelings are important, but I want you to tell you that the identity necessary, right, to step into, to amplify your lifestyle, to amplify your message with your stinking thinking, turning that into truth. I'm keep saying it over and over again, right? Turning pressure into your purpose, right? I mean, that's all real stuff, and you can do it. But nobody's going to give you permission. And the people that are still in your esteem, I like there's an old cartoon called The Underdog. I used to get picked on a lot, and people used to say things to me, and I'd say to myself, I'll show you. I said to myself, I'll show you, but it still hurt, right? I never really dealt with it, but I took that energy and converted it into a lot of different things that were successful in my life. But the emotional part, I had to work on still. So there's some of that old baggage, some of those thinking that runs deep, well beyond what we're talking about tonight, and I get it. That also can be relieved also. Just think how it will be, man. Right? When you're free from the stinking thinking because you've worked on yourself, when you're free from the stinking thinking because you stepped out off of that cliff, right? You did what Martin Luther King said, taking that another step on the ladder, you really don't see where it's going. So like I was saying, if you're feeling comfortable reading this, that's a good thing. It's intentional. It really is designed. That's part of the Monday Evening Mojo. Mojo doesn't come without a price, right? Mojo and momentum come with a price, man. But that's the purpose. The feeling that you're having still is the purpose knocking on your door, still telling you, hey, it is still time. Let's go. Let's do this thing. Let's get it. Let's enjoy this thing called to come back. Let's create the lifestyle, right? Let's make this thing happen for ourselves, man. Come on. So as I wrap this thing up, I'm going to ask you this. If you're done waiting for permission and ready to move forward, drop no permission in the comment section. N-O permission. Come on, let's do it together. No permission. Drop it in the comment section. When you hear the replay, right? I encourage you to go back and listen to some of this and ask yourself some questions, man. Do an identity check, right? And you're going to find out that what I'm telling you about yourself is true. You do have a purpose. You do have the ability, right? You're like, man, you're a comeback warrior already. Because we've all been through things in life. We're like, how the heck did we get through this? Well, you did. I want you to think about that. What is it? You didn't wait for permission in your life at different points in your life. So where are you now? Where are you now? On the sidelines, like I talked about at the very beginning, chin strap on, pestering the coach, walking next to him all the time, can't wait to get in the game, right? You've been beat up, and you had a person in front of you who's a little bit better, but they need a break. You want to get in the game, though. You're ready. You want to try it again, right? You've been beat up, but you're going to keep trying. Or you're the one that stands down there with the head in the sand. Hopefully that they don't call on you. Wherever you are, and I encourage you to hear me when I tell you, don't wait for permission. This is the motivation. It's about lifestyle change and becoming a comeback warrior. Oh man, well, you know that this is part of life. And the best way to handle it is to embrace it. Stand up, get ready, get set, shoulders back, head up, and get after it. Without the noise in your head. Or you got the noise in your head, but you know that if you keep working on finding that purpose, pursuing that purpose, that noise gets more and more like a whisper, and you can barely hear it, right? Oh, man. So anyway, boy, I'm here longer than I wanted to be. I just wanted to tell everybody, please, please, please hear me when I say this. There was no one to ask, what would you do? Ask yourself that question. And see if that's been a roadblock that now you have an answer to. And we always like to say, your comeback is now. Let's do this thing together. They only got one shot at this thing called life. And I don't want you to waste yours. All right, so have a great day. Comeback King. Saying thank you for listening. Drop a comment section in here. Give us some more support. Tell us what we can do more for you or what we're not doing for you so we can make sure that we serve you in the best way possible. And let's begin this transformation, right, from stinking thinking to truth. Taking pressure and turning it into our purpose. And no more standing on the sidelines. Let's join this community of comeback warriors and just make this thing happen called life. All right, hey, if you're looking for a community from heartbreak to healing, just join that group. If you need that information, let me know and I can get that to you. But we keep it real, keep it strong, and focus on you. All right, have a great night. We'll see you next Monday. And remember, your comeback starts now. Let's do this thing together. Let's rise, baby. Let's rise. Good night.